Well, to some of us, 3D printing is still science fiction, just like inkjet printing was 3 decades ago. But 3D printing is real. Scientists are toying with using it to print DNA.
And the technology may also be coming to Schrock Innovations. Welcome to the future.
And back for another Compute This, Thor. Schrock, what's up,
Hey,
Thor?
Thor.
Comes in really handy. You know, you just lost your dog, and you want. We're not going to be printing DNA.
Right, no.
Not quite
no,
yet.
Well, you could. I guess that could be coming.
I would do that with my dog.
Well,
I am
you
one of
just
those crazy
create
people.
a new one.
Yeah,
so what
it's
is
a new
it?
puppy.
What is it with this 3D printing? What does it mean, 3D
Okay,
printing?
so basically, when you think about 3D TVs and everything, it looks like a three-dimensional object right in front of you. 3D printing is a physical, three-dimensional item that you can hold in your hand. So this pen is a three-dimensional object I can hold in my hand, and it's made of plastic. If you lose the cap for your pen, we could print another one.
Give us an idea of the
What do you
scope.
mean?
Just like that.
Give us an idea of the scope. What can we print?
Okay, there are some limitations up front right now. Right now, most printer surface areas are about 8 inches cubed. So 8 inches wide, 8 inches long, 8 inches high. So if it fits in that space, you can print it. Or if you want to make something bigger, you can make multiple pieces. So if you ever lose that Lego, you know, that one Lego you need to finish the Death Star and you can't find it anywhere,
Right.
just print it. You can
What
just
do
make one.
you print it on paper?
No, actually, it's a heated metal plate. And one of the cool things, the reason we're talking about all this today, is we're working on a deal with some people that have one of these printers that they want to take to market. And if we can get all the I's dotted and the T's crossed and all the agreements in place, pretty soon, about 4 weeks from now on the Morning Blend, we will have a 3D printer in here to demo for you.
Oh,
That'd be
cool.
cool.
But basically, the big deal about the 3D printing is it allows you to, the reason I'm talking about it today is I want to fire people's imaginations. I want you to start thinking about what would you print
What would I
if you
print?
could print something.
Mike's question was the paper.
Yeah.
It's plastic.
It is plastic, so
Yeah.
you don't print on paper and you don't print with ink. Think about it this way. The best way to imagine a 3D printer is a sewing machine. You know those, like Letterman does those, like what would their kids look like? You know, and they blend the photos. So a sewing machine gets together with an inkjet printer and they have a baby and it's a 3D printer. And so it's got a spool of plastic thread on the top of the machine. It's called a filament, and it pulls it down through a print head called an extruder, and it heats it up, and it puts one dot of plastic down at a time, dot, 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 dot,
Until
dot,
it builds the
And it
So
goes
is this
entire
right
really
over
a
the
printer,
top.
or is it essentially a small little piece of manufacturing equipment?
It is. It's
know,
both, yeah.
It's got to be expensive because I think about the cost of those inkjet printers
Yes.
Mike mentioned in the 80s.
And that's the reason, you know, your first inkjet printer you're looking at was about $2,000. Right now, if you're going to get a 3D printer, you're looking at about $3,000 for the printer itself, plus you can't just go buy them. Nobody has them. So you have to wait for it to be made. So you're going to spend $3 grand plus wait 6 months to get the printer.
Wow.
So we think if we do our things right at Schrock with this unit, that we might be able to drop that price by 50% or more and have them on hand and available.
To where I could have you print something for me.
Yes, you could send us a
Instead
print
of
job,
worrying about the
or
cost
you
at
could
home.
buy the printer. Or I mean, you know, if you're imagine you're having a kid's birthday party and you want to print little coins for all the kids, or maybe you're having a poker party, you want to
This
create
is
custom poker chips.
bananas.
Right. So how long does it take to print a poker chip?
A poker chip probably take about 30 minutes to print one chip, so it's a slow process still. Just like your very first CD burners, you remember the 4-speed CD
Right.
burners
Yeah.
that if you wanted to burn, you know, an hour's worth of music, it would take an hour to burn.
Right.
So they're still a little slow because there's some physical limitations. You have to let the plastic cool. But there's a website I want to throw out there that you guys can check out and all of our viewers can check out. It's called thingiverse.com. Like universe, but thing, the letter I, verse, thingiverse.com. What this is a website full of 3D plans, because the next question everyone asks is, how do I make a plan? How do I print it?
That's my question. Do you
Right. How
scan?
do you do it?
Do you scan something in? How does it know what the dimension is?
Well, you have to create a plan right now.
Okay.
There are 3D scanners available out there for about another $3,000 that you can put like the cap on, and it'll spin it in a circle and scan it with lasers, and then create a plan for you. We'll get there. I just
Okay.
thought my wife talked into 3D printers, you know. That take like 6 months, okay? But the cool thing about it is when you print this stuff, you can print with flexible plastics, you can print with rigid plastics, you can print with different colored plastics.
What do these plastics cost? Because that's another, you got the printer cost, then you got to pay for this equipment, the printing.
Yes, the ink for the ink, quote unquote, the plastic filament for these printers runs about $45 for a 1 kilogram spool. That's about 2 pounds of plastic for $45. So, yeah, to give you an idea, let's say you wanted to print all of the parts required to maybe build a 3D printer. it would take about $20 in plastic to do that.
Right.
Got it.
Sure.
This is bananas. We were just looking at thingiverse.com if you're interested in checking out that website. Otherwise,
Yeah, it's plans
this
that other
guy's
people
online-
made.
Yeah,
Right.
this is so cool to me. SchrockInnovations.com is where you're going to learn more about Thor and what he's doing in our area. 3 locations, one in Omaha, Village Point South, also in Papillion, off 72nd and Highway 370. You're in a busy part of town, both of those. And then in Lincoln as well, that's the original location. Also on Facebook, if you're interested in seeing what they're up to on social media. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing, and we'll bring it here first. I mean, we're gonna print something. We'll have to do a time-lapse video
Okay.
though, because we only have about 6 minutes, and no one's going to really want to watch it print. It's kind of like watching paint dry.
We'll start it in the
You know?
commercial
No, but
break.
it's still hard to visualize this.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
amazing. And there's a video you can look at videos online for 3D printers and watch them build. They made a bust of Yoda.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like it
Of
just
course
builds
they
it right
do.
up.
Right. Thank you, Thor.
Thanks,
All the
guys.
things they can print.
Intriguing.
Let's go. Let's do Yoda.
Right.
Thanks
Wild.
for coming. So we're looking forward to the Big Dreams weekend now, and how Husker fans can take advantage of what's coming up.
All right, and the show that spoofs people on and in the news, it's the annual Omaha Press Club show. We'll visit with 2 of the folks behind it. That's still ahead.